Okay, it'll probably take a minute to go through this to get into the subscription. Oh, there it goes. Oh, okay, and I hear me over the thing. All right, mute the stream. Well, I did pop into the chat and say, hey, hey. Uh, and it has been detweeted. Which one is the super chat? Is that the one where they can send us money and we'll have to figure out exactly how we're going to get our money from Google? A whole $20. Okay, it's probably more than that, but 10. It says 10 on. I'm just watching it straight from the. We're old men. We don't know this fancy dancy shit, so we're bumbling through this. Mm. Well, yeah. Just seeing if we could make the whole damn thing work as we bumble our way through technology. Do you want to discuss the recent events, or you know? For the people all new to that, because I think we've not really talked about this on the YouTubes. Sorry, I had to get a swig of drink there. Swallowed something funny. Okay, let's try this again with clear pipes. Yeah, that's been working a lot on that. It's now kind of in the shopping it around phase. There's not much more to do. I've been doing some character design work and writing and polish because we really do work best as a team. That's, I think, our best work has pretty much always been bouncing off each other. Oh yeah, it's your baby. That's hmm. Trent. People are saying that they're having a hard time hearing you. Let's say they can't hear you at all. Yeah, I can hear you. All right, he's futzing with it. Like I said, it's technology. Um, there's not a time code thing on this, so I couldn't tell you. Okay, somebody just said they can hear you. Keep talking. Mm, yeah, I remember there was something about Windows was fucking up mics. Can anybody hear him? No, I'm not hearing you, and I'm not hearing you over YouTube. We may need to start over. Back in a minute. I think we're gonna start. Looks like we're gonna have to start over. Oh no, he says he.
Okay, we'll try that, and if that doesn't work, then I will reset.
Oh, I can hear you now.
Okay, all right. Yeah, the problem with the Windows settings cascaded into XSplit. Live, everybody, live. Um, okay, to sum up what we just kind of experienced there, what we were going over. Dino Guard is my personal sort of baby, a combination of ideas that I've had recently and ideas I've been carrying around since I was 8. It's currently being developed for television animation. We've got representation. The pitch books are done, and right now we're just waiting for Wave 1 pitchery to be done.
Yeah, it's being shopped to animation houses and whatnot. So hopefully in not too long, we will have like actual things on the televisions, the proper televisions, well, and streaming. But
And I'll have things like we'll have things like a steady income and royalty
yeah,
checks
yeah.
and shirts with buttons, all kinds of things. Yeah, all kinds of taxes and my own keys. Just not just an actor, but a well-rounded person. Uh,
So yeah, that's that's going on now. It's caused a little bit of delay in the video production, and we don't like that. But we are getting back on the track. Did we want to mention the Deadly Games thing?
Well, a bit. The creator of Deadly Games sent me an email, and it was thankfully not angry, and so we're going to be
Rather
sending.
the opposite. So
Yeah,
yay.
we're going to be sending back some questions, so we may be getting some answers on some things about actual intended airing orders and things of that nature. And the series is coming out on DVD this summer. That is one thing he wanted to let us know so we could let everybody else know.
And we do have episode 4, which is finally LeVar Burton as a villain. That is scripted. It's just we haven't been able to get it into production yet.
Yeah, that's going to be something I'm going to try and get edited this week and next. But yeah, we're going to be finally hitting LeVar Burton. Even if I find out that it's later in the airing order, I have jerked you guys around enough with it. We'll go with LeVar
we need to
next.
get to LeVar Burton because I love LeVar Burton.
I think it's Brent Spiner after that too.
Yeah,
like it goes from LeVar Burton to Brent Spiner, both of which are pretty good episodes.
Apparently it's E3. I've been out of the house most of the day, so I haven't really been able to keep track, and I'm thunderously bored with gaming, so...
I haven't been paying a great deal of attention. I mean, there's a new Fallout game, so that's interesting.
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, though, it's a gigantic multiplayer survival-y thing, so I'm instantly tuned out.
Yeah, it's also set at the opening of the first vault, that like one of the first control vaults, apparently, which means that in large part what you're seeing is the start of all of the cannibal tribes.
Oh, goody!
Yeah.
So I'm extra tuned out.
Yeah, it's like we kind of know what happens to these people. They go crazy, and I mean,
well, I've been watching Nash. He's been live streaming Fallout 4, and aside from wanting to go through his archives and count literally how many people he's had to murder, I'm pretty sure it's more than the population of the area. I'm sitting here going, I would really love to see a Fallout game, a Fallout-style game that is, post whatever kind of apocalypse. That's just the scrounging for the good bits, finding allies, building a viable thing where you don't have to murder 10 million people. I kind of want to see a survival and make a thriving colony. Well, sure there needs to be some fighting. There has to be some fighting.
Well, the thing is if it wasn't a competitive survival game, Fallout 76 could be that, because it's literally about the vault that opens 20 years after the bombs drop, and it's the very first people rebuilding. Some of which are, of course, going to become crazy cannibal wasteland marauders, but some of them are going to become the sort of the people who made Megaton and stuff like that, the actual settler types. And I could see you doing a game where, like, it was maybe a little bit more of a resource buildy game.
You can do your fighting with all the mutant beasties wandering around now. I don't think anybody would complain if they had to kill a bunch of Deathclaws and Mirelurks and
various other,
etc.
Yeah, and who knows what types of like short-lived mutations would crop up right after the war.
Yeah.
So you could have all kinds of interesting things. Although I don't know if it's faked or not, but a screenshot does appear to show Mothman in the sky. So because it's happening out in that area.
In Jersey.
Yeah, it's I don't think it's Jersey exactly. It's West Virginia. Jersey has the Jersey Devil. Mothman was in Virginia, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Monster Boy in the Cursed Kingdom. I'm looking forward to that. Taking there was I don't remember but they took the old Sega Monster Wonder Boy game and they did a beautiful job sprucing it up. I mean, they gave it like beautiful animation, and it was really ingenious the way they took the animation. You know how slidey all those old Genesis and NES games are?
Yeah, like some of them are very icy and so forth. Yeah.
but they worked with that, so they did not change the gameplay one iota. The characters are still sliding, but the way they worked with it, they fooled you because the animation, the character, when you stop, the character kind of turns.
So it's actually like the animation reflects the slide,
Yeah, so it
like they're
fools your
skidding to a
brain, and
stop.
you get used to it, and it's really visually great. But apparently, they're doing a new game, an entirely new game, based on all the Wonder Boy transformations.
Okay, cool.
With that old style, so it's a very beautifully animated retro platformer.
Yeah, I think I saw some clips of that on Tumblr, I think.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
where
looking
the whole screen gets turned upside down and stuff like that. Um, no, that's neat. I like monsters, obviously. Yep.
So no, it's that's about it. I mean, I'm kind of looking to. I'll need to check out the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer. I mean, I co-wrote guidebooks for 2 of those Kingdom Hearts games. I got to write a big chunk of the Kingdom Hearts 2 official guidebook, and that was a lot of fun. And that was so long ago.
Yeah, I'm still not entirely sure I believe that the Kingdom Hearts games exist, and I've played them. Um, but it's just such an odd thing, Disney and Square. I think that we need more cracked out kind of crossovers like that. And some people have noticed that the pirates from Spartacus do slightly resemble a bit of Falloutness. They're
Oh
fighting
yeah.
in their garbage waste.
Now, before we ramble too on, do we want to go on to a short film too?
Yeah, we can. Just
And
real
then
quick.
we'll ramble some more, and then we'll check something else out, and then we'll ramble some more. And
What was the name of the game that you were talking about?
Wonder Boy
Wonder
or
Boy.
Monster Boy.
Monster
This one is
Boy.
Monster Boy.
Yeah, and the one before was Wonder Boy. There was WS in the chat was asking about the game with the sliding.
Yeah.
And okay, so yeah, we have one that I think we may have actually watched in a previous stream, but we're going to make another run at it because we think there's some potential. This one is about the very important topic of the preservation of old film stock, which is
Done in a dramatic style, so you know they're going to bungle it.
Yeah. This is done to make sure that the projectionists at the that when they run the training for the projectionists, that they might not fall asleep during the educational film. And here we go. There we go. Or maybe. Come on. Why is it not? I couldn't make it not run before. Hang on, it's being crazy. Maybe if I re-import it.
So enjoy the hoary netherworld.
There we go. Thank you, XSplit. Because we always want everything in the corner and 1/4 screen. There we go. Well, I think it's obvious who did it. They left their calling card.
Worst game of Clue ever.
This was the scene of the crime. In our book,
Calvin!
it's murder.
Forced perspective.
Same old story to begin with. Victim young, good looking, wanted to get on television. Had everything it takes for a great career. Someplace along the line, got mixed up with the wrong guy. You know, wound up dead.
Ted works concessions.
We don't know who did it or how. That's what we're trying to find out.
Oh, sorry.
About the body, not pretty. Beat up, mutilated, pretty bad. Hard to believe anybody'd do a thing like that. But if you've got a strong stomach, take a look. Alive and healthy a month ago. Now, she's dead. Couldn't get her through a projector. If you could, nobody could stand to look.
the other hand, it was a copy of Jurassic Park Lost World, so who cares?
Yes? Speaking.
What is this, the Lost Zapruder film?
Tomorrow. But you told me next week. But you've got it.
Tripping balls, man.
Okay, so he pulls out the squid and
Mr. Gruff, please, think of your wife.
Let me alone.
The company won't survive.
Leave me alone. I've made up my mind.
Mr. Gruff,
I always thought she was going to impale herself on the coat rack.
or at least on the static.
Who did it? We don't know. All we got are suspects. There's a guy named Jones, lab man. He makes prints of films. He handled this print.
That print was perfect when she left me. I had nothing to do with killing her.
You normally
And
give
there's
testimony
Smith.
in the lineup?
He's a film distributor. He sent the print to the station.
Why would I do anything to hurt her? I loved her.
And Brown, he's film director at the station.
I know. You're trying to make me the fall guy. It
I'm a
won't
little
work.
disturbed
She
that
was
you're
with me a lot,
gendering the
sure,
film.
but I was taking care of her.
And Harris, projectionist at the station.
I only had that print long enough to thread her up. I couldn't have done her any harm.
Somebody did. Somebody murdered her. My job? Find out who. We questioned the suspects, got their stories. First, this man Jones from the film laboratory.
What do you pick on me for? I never hurt that print.
How do you figure that?
Made out of
I know
latte.
the kind of treatment film gets here. That's my business, protecting film, turning out perfect prints. Why ask me all these questions?
His job is protecting
Just
film,
routine.
except
well, I
from
got
his
nothing
own
to
acting.
hide. I'll tell you how it was. That print, here's where she came from. First I saw of her, she was coming off this processing machine. Brand new and perfect. And we kept her that way, too.
300 miles of
Ow.
black linguine.
Well, figure it out. What's the biggest danger to film? Dirt. All right, look around. No dirt in here. Even the air is filtered. Not a chance for any dust
Directors.
or dirt or stuff to get to her.
Go on.
Another thing. Before she ever left the machine, before I ever touched her, she was lubricated.
You oiled her?
No. Wax solution. Here, film goes over this flat cylinder that rotates and puts the lubricant on the emulsion side.
Lubricant?
Yeah, we make it up ourselves.
It puts
About
the
a tenth of a
lubricant on
gram
the-
of Hercules B16 synthetic
Motion
wax
Gets
side
those
to 100
again.
grams of solvent. Applied here. Dries almost instantly.
What's the idea?
Protection against scratches, abrasion. Keeps the film from sticking in the projector gate. For instance, you ever heard of
Preserves
people
your
having trouble with green
precious
prints?
bodily fluids.
Green prints?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a print that hasn't been lubricated. That fresh emulsion gelatin is always soft, a little tacky, sticky. Unless you lubricate that surface, the first few times you try to
Honey,
project
have you
it,
heard of
you can
decaf?
have trouble. You get sticking. Little tiny particles of that soft emulsion come off and pile up in the gate. Result is jittery picture, not steady.
Not steady. Not good. No dinking. No shorting.
Not only that, if it sticks bad, the claw puts too much tension on the perforations, may even tear them. Or you can lose a loop, break the film. Or the film runs off and the sprockets punch new holes.
Sometimes a
green print will
communist
do
shows
that.
up and runs sandpaper over everything.
Another thing, where that soft emulsion piles up, dirt gets in. It drags against the film and you
My
get
strip of Pope
abrasion.
hats is ruined.
Sounds like what happened to this print.
Nope, couldn't have, because like I said, she was lubricated, like all our prints. That wax coating prevents print sticking. So don't blame me for what happened to that print. Guy you're looking for must be...
Never mind anybody else. What else did you do with her?
What else? Well, took the reel off the machine, made a regular visual inspection. We'd have caught any defects if there'd been any. And we're still working in clean, filtered air, remember. Put her on a core, labeled her, packaged her up, and shipped her off.
That's all?
Yeah.
Well,
So
that
if I
except
all
we
that,
did
took
include a
all
whole
that
bag
care,
of locusts.
How could I have
free
hurt
with
her?
every order.
I wonder.
Huh?
If you did all that.
Ryan Stiles' angry dad is scaring
Next
me.
guy we talked to was Smith. Works for this film distribution outfit. His story was...
Sure, I remember.
Hey, it's the
She came
holographic
to us
doctor
from the
from
lab
Voyager.
on a core. We inspected her while rewinding her onto a reel.
Careful, were you?
Sure. Brand new reel, like always. Side straight, no burrs.
Was she in good shape then?
Perfect.
And then?
Well, she went out to 2 or 3 stations. I could tell you which ones.
No names.
Okay. Anyway, the next I saw of her, she was still in A1 condition. That was one morning when I got her out of the rack for timing and inspection.
Hold it. This sign. This film a fire hazard?
What's that? Oh, no, it's all safety film. The point of no smoking is it helps keep the place clean. That's the first rule in handling film. Don't let dirt and stuff get to it.
So they tell me.
You can see for yourself how clean we keep it around here.
No.
There's
smoking,
no windows to
I'm
let
not,
dirt
I'm
and
not
grime
supposed
in from the
to
outside.
smoke.
Tables? Nothing on them except what we need to work with. No
Remember,
chance
at
for
the time,
dirt
you
or
were allowed
abrasive
to
material
smoke
to get to
anywhere
our
in
film.
which
This is the way it
explosives were
always
not
is?
currently being
Sure,
exposed to
film's
the
our
air.
business. You know how much it costs us when a print gets scratched up and has to be junked?
Plenty.
Plenty is right. That's why I keep my place looking like this. You never catch me doing like some people, letting my table turn into a junk pile. That's murder on film. I got more sense than that. I'll tell you something about film.
What's that?
Whenever
It'll
film's
take
being
your wallet if
handled,
you looked at it
moved,
sideways.
other words, wound and rewound, it builds up static electricity. It gets just like a magnet. It attracts particles of dirt, stuff from the air, cigarette ashes, dirt on the table. That stuff gets ground into the film, and you've got scratches.
But about this murder. You took this print to your table.
Yeah, for timing and inspection.
Meaning what?
Well, to measure the footage first, using this counter. But that can't hurt film, providing you don't pull it through too fast.
Did you?
No, took it slow. Thing is, while I was timing her, I was checking for any damage, any abrasions or scratches.
Why would I tell you if I
How'd
did?
I check? Held her so the light reflects off the film. Any scratches, I'd see them.
Well, they're given
Did you see any?
kind of given the fourth
No.
degree over a damaged
What
roll
else you
of
checked
film.
Any splices in the print. If there'd been any bad ones, I'd have repaired them. But there
Can you
weren't.
tell me if I have a
Look for any
mustache or
damage
not?
to the perforations. Any torn ones. They were all okay.
Anything else?
Yeah, I made sure that the last station hadn't left any commercials in the film, and I checked for improper cue marks.
What marks?
Cue marks. You know, the little marks we put at certain points in the film to signal a director or projectionist when to switch
You
over.
know that bastard
or
who
when the
keeps
film's about
bothering
over.
Picard?
Or when to bring in a commercial. You know.
I get you.
The reason I check that, well, you should see some of the films we get back. Brother, the cue marks. These jokers all think they've got to have their own special cue marks at their own special places and make them good and big so they can't miss them. Looks awful. Ruins a print. I can understand why they don't use a standard cue system. Believe me,
Okay. But this print, any cue marks on her?
only the right ones, that's all.
Any other injuries?
No. Like I say, she was in beautiful shape.
Sure of that?
Sure. Anything wrong, I'd have reported it. But there wasn't. Condition A1. No scratches, no perforation damage. Everything okay.
You wear gloves?
I think we may
Always.
be missing the
Don't
fact
catch me
that this
getting
might be
fingerprints
a
on anything.
Pauly Shore
Clean
film.
gloves?
Yeah,
I think
clean
that
gloves.
needs to be taken into
Change 'em every day.
consideration when we're
Maybe oftener.
determining
Look, I
who's
know
going
what
to
you're
be,
getting at. Gloves pick up
given the
dirt
riot
particles
act
while
over
you work.
this.
Run film over the cloth and it acts just like sandpaper. Only thing is, I didn't do that. My gloves were clean, and I didn't drag the film over the dry cloth. I held it by the edges like always.
So, then what?
Well, after inspection, we rewound her and cleaned her at the same time.
Cleaned her how?
With wax and solvent. The same thing they use in the labs.
Lubricant, is it?
Yeah. Anytime you clean film, you ought to use a lubricant to do it. Just makes sense to give it that protection.
This machine, it's safe?
Sure. Film
Well,
runs
yeah,
through
except
these
for the
strips of
mangler,
rayon
but
plush.
we don't turn
Solution
that on
drips
most
onto
of
the
the time.
material, keeps it moist. The plush is chained so no dirt gets a chance to pile up and scratch the film. Takes up on a reel, and that's it.
So you still say,
That I couldn't have hurt that
Decapitated head
print.
of Riddy Kilowatt
She went right
keeps
into the
film
can
safe.
and the shipping case and left here. Like I say, condition A1. I swear it. Anything that happened to her later, I had nothing to do with it. I pass.
yeah, I see you.
What?
Passing. The buck, that is. We followed the thing a little farther.
By accusing you of something I have no evidence of, I'm being a tough guy.
He admitted he'd had a lot to do with the victim.
Naturally I did. I'm responsible for all the film here at the station. Our own prints and the ones we lease or rent. I make up the programs, see that the film's timed and cleaned, put in commercials, make repairs, all that. But I didn't hurt that film.
What did you do to her?
Well, the day she came in, I got her out of the rack to take her in for timing and inspection.
I heard all kinds of other
Sign
films, but
says
not
no
that
smoking.
one.
I didn't smoke. We don't allow smoking where film's being handled because...
I know. Then what?
Took her in, put her on the table, and started timing.
You know, I'm
Table
thinking
pretty
that
clean?
maybe the cop
Yeah,
did it.
clean, sure.
Yeah.
Look at it any time. I know what dirt does to film. We're careful. Any place we're handling film, it's clean, air-conditioned. And that's all we do there. Just handle film.
Don't get
Don't
touchy.
even breathe.
You project this print?
No.
Why not?
Why, I haven't got time to project all the film we get in here. Hundreds of feet a day. Some stuff I project. Sure, if there's a question about it. But not this one. I don't think.
You're not sure?
No, but if I had, that wouldn't have hurt her. You can see our preview projectors in real good shape. Why, we clean the gate every other day. I know what a dirty projector can do to film.
All right, then.
And I know what happens if you don't thread a projector right.
So?
So I'm careful about threading every time. But like I say, this print, I didn't project. All I did was timer and spectra and put in the commercials.
Take it a step at a time.
Well, what I did was run her through the footage counter at a good safe speed, too. Some guys pull them through so
Make sure
fast
to
they
do it
scream. Not me. I've seen what that can do to film. So have you. So I went slow. Meantime, I checked for scratches and damaged perforations, the usual things, and then...
Find any
Slow,
damage?
mellow, satisfying.
No, it didn't. Anyhow, I figured the distributor had made a real thorough check and cleaned it. So there was no reason to think anything was wrong.
He claims there was nothing wrong with it.
Okay, well, I couldn't have heard it either.
Mm-hmm. Then what'd you do?
Spliced in the commercials.
How?
Like I always do. Listen, I know how to make a splice, mister. You can watch me anytime, right by the book. Put the film in carefully. Don't jam it on the pins. Never use Scotch tape or masking
I'll put on
tape to
some
back
low
up a
lights and you can
splice.
watch me
I know
anytime.
that. Stuff gets caught in the projector gate.
Oh.
Then I scrape the emulsion, and I use a scraper that's made for scraping. Wet the emulsion to soften it. Take it all off without cutting down into the base.
Okay.
Then the cement. Put it on, close her up, give it 10 or 15 seconds
What
to
we're
dry
looking
well,
at right here,
and I've got
that's
a
a
perfect
good 3
splice.
hours of editing to
But
simulate
that's how
that
I
effect.
always do it. And I keep
Digital
my
systems.
splicer adjusted too, so there's no chance of splices being crooked.
Okay. After inspection, what? You clean it?
No, it didn't need it. The distributor always...
Ever clean film here?
Sure, our own library prints or any prints that need it.
Use machine?
No, we clean it by hand. We run it through soft cotton pads moistened with cleaning fluid. I say clean.
Pine
We
Sol.
keep changing the cloth so dirt can't pile up and scratch the film.
Cleaning fluid?
Yeah, a solvent with a little synthetic wax in it to lubricate the film. Makes it move through the projector nice and smooth.
Right. Now about this print.
And some spit.
After inspection, you rewound it.
Yeah, and I was careful there, too. First place, my rewinds are lined up perfectly. No way film can drag against the sides. And then I kept a constant tension on the film. I'm not one of these wise guys when it comes to rewinding film.
Wise guys?
Yeah, you've seen them showing off, building up speed, then coasting. Letting the
Those
film drag
rebels.
over the table so it gets scratched. Or cranking it through with a jerky motion so you won't get a good snug roll. And none of that stuff for me, steady speed.
I do it the slow and
constant
hard
tension when I
way.
rewind.
Because joy
Yeah.
is for the young.
Something else. I've seen guys do a sloppy job so the film's loose on the reel. Then they'll yank on the end of the film till it's tight. Worst thing you can do. Any dirt particles on the film just get grounded along against the emulsion and dig grooves. Cinch marks.
No, I think setting it on
You've seen
fire
them.
is probably the
Look
worst you
like
could do.
this.
Unless it's a Colin Trevorrow film.
Yeah, I've seen him.
That's why I didn't cinch the film. Never do. Rewound are good and snug on a good reel. No bent sides, no burrs. Put her in with the next day's program. That's all I did. I didn't hurt that print, and you can't prove I did. I'm innocent, so help me.
Funny thing.
Huh?
If you're innocent, why would you want help? That left us with one more suspect. Harris, projectionist at the TV station. Had an answer to everything.
You're not a real
I
cop.
grant you film can get ruined in projection. It happens. But not
But
if the
I
film is
ruin
in good
film
shape and the
intentionally,
projector is
and I do
working
it like a
right. Now, that's my
professional.
job. No bent reels, and I never spin the take-up reel after I'm threaded up. And I'll tell you now, my projector never harmed that print.
Sure of that?
Figure it out. I'm supposed to get a good picture on the screen. Only way I can do that is to keep that projector clean. The gate gets dirty and the picture starts jumping around like this.
Turns out the real culprit, crackles.
Or the sound scanning system gets dirty and the sound goes haywire. Like this. Noisy, you see?
Yes, friends. Feed your pooch doggy drops.
drops?
He'll go for that
There's
yummy
medications
flavor.
for that.
And remember, doggy drops are double enriched. Now twice as effective. Get the handy 50-pound
Also, why
economy
does the dog
size
have a tongue
at your
butt?
neighborhood kennel.
So I don't let those things happen. I work on that projector.
Work on
That
it?
projector
How?
works on my kidneys.
Well, take the gate. Every chance I get, I pull it out and clean it. Especially along these rails. Let emulsion or dirt pile up here, and it's liable to scratch the film,
Chance you get, you pull it
particularly
out,
in the
huh?
soundtrack area. Then you've got a noisy track.
Go on.
Another thing, if the gate's dirty, the film can't move through freely.
I'm
Tends
suspicious
to
of Conan
stick when the air
O'Brien here.
mitten pulls down on the perforation. Now that extra strain can scar those perforations, may even tear them. Then you lose your loop, get run off, really chew up the film.
That's what happened here to the victim?
Nope, that's what didn't happen. Because I cleaned that gate, got the dust out of it. And that isn't all. I checked every film contact point. Made sure the rollers were all really
I think
rolling.
this is just
not
anti-dust
stuck
propaganda.
So the film was dragging over them. Now that could
I
happen.
liked Dust. It was a great
Did it?
game.
No, I told you I checked it. Part of my normal maintenance. Like checking the sound system all the time. Cleaning all the film contact points to make sure we get the best sound quality. And also, make sure the film doesn't get scratched when it goes over the drum. Main thing with the projector is to keep it clean and lubricated right. Then it'll never damage film. Not if the film's okay to begin with.
How about
I
threading?
think I've heard the word
Well, what about
lubrication 7 too many
Listen,
times
I know
so
my
far.
job. I thread that projector 50 times a day, and I do it right. Ask anybody, they'll tell you. Or you can watch me yourself. Anything goes wrong during projection, it's because there are bad splices in the print, or torn perforations, or dirt on the film.
You've really perfected the
I take
mediocre
care
white
of this
dude
projector,
indignant
and I thread it up the
tone.
right
It's really
way.
nice.
Now
I'm
that's
appreciating
all
that.
I can do. I projected that print, and I put her in the rack.
And I've
That's
projected
the
my
last
guilt
I
onto
saw of
everyone
it.
around me.
Not quite.
What do you mean?
You see her now. So, there it's a murder that everybody says couldn't have happened.
Cop, you're bad at this.
We don't know who did it. All we know is this. If all the suspects had treated the victim like they say they did, she'd be alive today. Only she's not. Somebody's guilty. Maybe all of them together.
Turns out to be a
But if
pack
we
of
stick to their
raccoons that
stories,
just got into the film
we're
projecting
stuck with a
booth.
perfect crime. It happens. More than you think.
Here's the pack of raccoons
As for
in a
you,
suit
we figure
now.
you're innocent. This case, you can go. Just one thing. You want to stay in the clear and get this straight. Every time you handle film, better figure it's a matter of life or death, because it is. Get a little careless.
What are you accusing me
and we
of,
may be
you
after
ambulatory
you for murder
ham roast?
on the screen.
So it was the Lindbergh baby the whole time?
I guess, do we open up the envelope and see what 3 cards are in there now?
So it would seem. I mean, I can't think of any other way of resolving that issue.
Yeah. Ever tell you I once won a game of Clue in the first round?
No.
It was awful.
Just blind guess, or?
Yeah. I mean, it was, I just like, okay, all right. And I suggest it was so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so. And everybody's like, nope, nope, nope. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's no wonder that we have the problems we have with crime when our police are taken up looking into the fate of old-timey film strips.
Yeah.
I mean, how else are the children going to learn about hygiene?
Film. Yeah, dude. I want to talk about something kind of spoilery.
Okay.
About Bumblebee.
All right.
I don't know if y'all have seen the trailer, but I've actually really been looking forward to this one because we've got like the guy from Kubo and the Two Strings directing it this time around.
Yeah, I think he's heard of Subtlety.
Yeah, and how characters work and people. But this, there's apparently somebody saw like an early cut of the film, and from what I've heard, this person has not been going around, spluing, random. I hear this, but this, what you're seeing on the screen now, this black and red muscle car is apparently one of the 3 Decepticons in the film. One of them is basically confirmed. One of them is basically confirmed to be Barricade again, which is great because I like Barricade.
Right. One of the best additions to the movie universe.
One of the best, yeah. And I really want to see him in more universes.
Mm-hmm.
But so this, from what I've heard, let's go with spoilers. I don't know how many people care. Supposedly, this muscle car is a female Decepticon called Shadow Striker, who is leading the squad on Earth. And this is some deep Transformers lore nerdery going on. Because Shadow Striker was a 2003 BotCon exclusive, I think.
Yeah.
Not BotCon. It was that brief period where BotCon didn't have the BotCon name.
OTFCC.
Yeah, official Transformers Collectors Convention. Really rolls off. Yeah, really rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
And so you had this name that they pulled from an old, but during Revenge of the Fallen, there was a little 2-pack of tiny figures. That was Bumblebee versus Shadow Striker, and Shadow Striker was a red and black little mini coupe kind of deal.
Okay.
And it was a female character who was a rival with Bumblebee in this Revenge of the Fall. So for this spin-off, they're pulling back, I can believe
to a toy-only pack that was based on a reference to an extremely obscure convention exclusive.
Yeah. And that convention exclusive also had an exposed engine.
Ah.
So, I mean, I'm sure that part's coincidence, but it's just like they're doing this, and I really feel like this is a plausible one because apparently Shadow Striker is involved in the new cartoon.
Yeah.
As a major villain. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I want a toy of that muscle car right there.
Yeah. I am genuinely excited about the Bumblebee movie. I'm a little angry that I'm excited about the Bumblebee movie.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
Because it finally makes the robots look the way I think they should have looked in these movies for a long time.
Yeah.
This realistic but still very G1 derived and still visually readable art style.
It's got the prime level armor coverage while keeping the severe mechanical greebles that ground this thing in realism.
Mm-hmm.
You need those severe mechanical greebles. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah. Well, you need them, but they need to be in the areas where you need that type of movement, which is going to be on the under armor and the middle of the hands and stuff like that. This type of armor plate coverage at least means that Bumblebee is going to read as a yellow being that you can make out what's happening with him on screen. And I mean, they're still keeping a lot of the sort of the greebly stuff. I mean, as we can see from possibly Starscream here.
The other part of the rumor is that that's not actually Starscream, which would go if Shadow Striker is the leader.
Yeah,
but you know what? That's fine. It is a jet. It looks jetty.
It's clearly supposed to evoke Starscream, even if it's not the movie Starscream. But movie Starscream, already has an identity. You can kind of duplicate that G1-y look with a new character, and I think everyone's going to glom on just fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, it does have the hints at a Seeker helmet and just the general G1 Decepticon jet look.
I kind of feel like he's probably going to be a lot stumpier than what we see there, though. Because, like on the far left, you can see a leg, and that nose cone is pointed straight down, and he's doing a Superman pose.
Yeah,
but it's still evoking.
Yeah, he's also still forming together in that shot. He doesn't seem to reach his completed transformation during that.
I'd say by the end of that shot, he's really close. That nose cone is probably not changing orientation much.
Right. But still, it's definitely going to look nicer visually, and I think is going to be a lot easier to read.
Yeah.
And just the more Spielbergian tone that the trailer seems to put across, it's what I've wanted out of a movie.
Reel it back, keep it low, play the characters more.
Mm-hmm.
That is one thing I will say, that pretty much from the start of this production, the producers have been like, no, we're not going with Bayhem this time around. No, we're not going that. No, we're dialing it back. No, we're not. They were
substantially less confusion.
Yeah. So it's just, and it is kind of interesting to just watch the responses. Like, holy shit, this looks like this is fun. Like, and that was something I had said. How they market this is going to make a huge difference, and they did it the right way.
Right. Yeah, but it's strange being excited for a Transformers movie again.
Yeah.
Especially after the last one left me feeling so empty inside. Spiritual devastation is probably the best way of putting it, but it was just
I've walked out of every Transformers movie with like, I liked this element. This element was really cool. This set piece was really fun. Why did it all add up to way less?
Yeah. Less than the sum of its parts, I believe you've once said, and I can't disagree with that. But we about done talking about the Bumblebee movie, because I have something I want to chat about.
Sure thing.
I am going to inflict my latest stupid interest on the chat.
Okay.
Because I find dumb things and I revel in them, as anyone who's witnessed my love of deadly games should know. Recently, I got a little curious and I went looking, and it turns out that there is a television show from my childhood that is entirely up on YouTube, and I was delighted to find that out. And I'm going to introduce you to that series via this screenshot of its lead character. This is Blake 7. Blake 7 was made in the 1970s by the BBC. It is a series by Terry Nation, the guy that invented the Daleks. And it is beautiful lo-fi science fiction that is just drizzled in 1970s British Gormless
Cheapness.
charm. As you can tell, Blake, who is there with their bad guy, the story is that Blake and his crew, which is very rarely 7 people, and only has Blake for half the series, despite the name being Blake 7. I don't think they have 7 characters on the ship after like the 3rd episode. It's like it's always like more or less. Depends on whether you count their multiple talking computers as characters, things of that nature. But the basic idea is that there's a Federation in space, and it's evil in an Orwellian 1984 kind of way. And Blake is leading a rebellion in a stolen alien spacecraft called the Liberator that has a couple of technological advantages, and it's kind of like watching old Star Trek if the crew was entirely scumbags, and the Federation was this decaying, centuries-old Orwellian nightmare, which actually makes all of the times that they have to film in a disused industrial park in Hertfordshire actually kind of ring true for once. And you can tell that Blake is sort of a doughy Han Solo type with a Jew fro, white guy fro. He is very intensely rebellious, but is otherwise physically unimpressive. And we'll show you some of the other beautiful elements of this. Here's another shot of our hero and our lockpicky comic relief character on the bridge of their ship, which appears to be made out of old stereo boxes.
Oh, that one haircut. That haircut on the dude on the left.
Oh, yeah.
That was like 70% of British haircuts in the 70s.
Yeah, Villa. Villa is the cowardly alcoholic thief who is at the same time has a slight, heart of gold. He's fun. And then, of
Eric
course,
Idle haircut there.
Yeah, there. It does seem like the entire cast of Monty Python is there, and they're just not being funny at the moment. But like the bad guy weapons are literally an old toy, one of those air guns that would shoot a puff of smoke.
Oh, the Whammo air blaster?
Yeah, the bad guys are using modified Whammo air blasters. And they just have like a squib that like sparks and shoots smoke when they kill somebody. And but this is the Liberator, which appears to have been made using styrene models off the shelf. In the first season, the Liberator cannot move and fire at the same time. Not that that's a limitation of the vehicle. It's just whenever they're doing the special effects shots, if the ship's firing, the stars in the background are always static. It's very plainly like filmed on a budget of $37 and a sandwich.
What sets does the BBC have available this week?
Oh no, I heard about some beautiful stuff in the production of, like, literally one of the producers said that if someone came to them with a script and had they enter a large room, the standard operating procedure was to cross out large room and write medium room. And if they said they enter a medium room, they cross it out and write a small room. Like, I was impressed when, like, at the season ender for the first season, they pull out the camera to a wide shot several times. But and also just the 70s-ness of the cast and their outfits and just their general complexion is very 1970s Britain.
Shades of brown. That's what you want in your sci-fi. Just shades of brown.
Yeah, I love the girl that's second to the left and her leather motorcycle outfit / leisure suit. And she's the one she's the sexy one. She's the sexy ex-smuggler. Whereas the other girl is the telepath, whose telepathic ability is only to project her thoughts into other people's minds. She can't read minds. but she can talk into someone else's head, which they've managed to make useful like 3 times. Like literally, it's a time in which because the big advantage that the heroes have is that they have a teleporter on their ship, and nobody else has teleporters. So they're.
I'm just really digging everybody stand way unnaturally close to each other in a line like humans don't.
Yeah.
Because we don't have room on the studio for a wider shot.
Right, because somebody had to scratch out medium room and write small room. and yeah, that's and it's just it's one of the few situations where they've tailored a piece of science fiction to the limitations by making it this sort of oppressive societal Orwellian thing where everything is supposed to feel claustrophobic and dirty and run down and cheap. Like, they run into ships that are hundreds of years old, and they're exactly like the other ships that the Federation is using at the time. They're just like the entire thing is in this sort of state of stagnation and decay. And if you're making a British science fiction show in the 1970s and leaning into stagnation and decay is really going to overcome a lot of your budgetary limitations. And it also has a beautiful instance of someone's a bad guy because they can buck the dress code. Supreme Commander Servalan, the actress who played her, apparently they had come to her and they were going to dress her like a Nazi because the bad guys are Nazis because it's a British science fiction show.
Because of course.
Yeah, and they're various types of fascists. So that she was going to be like in jodhpurs and a uniform and stuff. And she's like, no, but with my short hair, you might as well have cast a guy. I demand to wear flowing evening gowns and stuff. So it's like she's the baddest ass chick in space because everyone else is wearing brown and she's wearing this bright white Donna Summer outfit. And her number one henchman is the least threatening man in space, which is Commander Travis, who is about as threatening as his name would imply.
About to say, not exactly a name that inspires fear.
Yeah, they abruptly changed his actor in a Dick York, Dick Sargent move, and no one really cared. His big villainous claim is that when he first encountered Blake before the series began, Blake shot him in the face and put out his eye, and so now he's hunting for Blake in revenge. And there's an entire episode where he's just sort of hamming it up behind a plaster mask, pretending to be a burn victim, and it's just. I love stupid British sci-fi, and it's all up for free. You just have to search for Blake 7.
Is this like actual BBC put it up, or did they somehow get it past the BBC?
I think they somehow got it past the BBC, although it's hard to tell. It might just be a situation where, because of how the BBC works with rights, it might belong to the Terry Nation estate. And the Terry Nation estate might not be as willing to employ copyright bots on a series that they don't seem to be streaming anyplace.
Yeah, because I know the BBC cracked down on We've got some like trailer rifflets that we would love to put up, even though they'd get flagged or whatever. But because they contain Who stuff, well.
Well, also those.
With the BBC, they don't just do the "we'll take the revenue from your ads." They shut you down.
And they went after those British PSAs that we had that are in the public domain in the U.S. and are not in Britain.
Yeah. Which is annoying because those were fun.
Those were fun, and you would think that they would lighten up on stuff that was released just post World War II when they're still talking about rationing. I think you've squeezed the dime out of that one, but Yeah, it's funny how like for a long time they would just burn anything they weren't used to, they didn't have use for anymore, and now they're claiming copyrights on stuff that was released in 1947.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Old wartime. Actually, I need to check and see if the if A&E has let go of what makes a good party. I have to go through that again.
Andrew in the chat with Commander Travis is the name of the postman's dog, and yeah, that is about right, because it's just there's several points in which they just kind of leave Commander Travis because Blake thinks it's meaner to let him keep living. But yeah, one of the nice things about it though is because everything is so low budget, most of the stuff is driven by character interaction, and particularly the cast of characters on the ship are snippy to one another, but they're snippy in ways that are actually funny. It's like what Beast Machines wanted to do but didn't quite pull off. Because while they are snippy at each other, you definitely get a feeling that the characters, are generally like and support each other. Because the guy on the far right, Avon, who is again tragically misnamed. I can only imagine that in Britain they did not have Avon Cosmetics. But Avon's thing is that he is a super genius, and he's supposedly totally out for himself. But
how many episodes of Doctor Who has that guy been in? Because I swear that face and that hair is like I feel like he's been in like 80% of all British television.
Most of these people were in like 80%.
Or they're just like growing them in vats or something.
I'm pretty sure that everybody on this show showed up at Doctor Who. A lot of Doctor Who props show up. They have a lot of Doctor Who hand-me-downs in their prop department, apparently. But yeah, his whole deal is like, Blake, I don't trust you. I think you're an idealistic fool, and you're going to get us all killed. Now I'm going to be very cross while I risk my life to save you yet again. It's like, now Blake, don't let the fact that I've just saved your life for the 17th time make you think that I won't challenge you for control of this ship. It's like, yeah, the grumpy space pirates like each other. But yeah, I just needed to share my latest foray into terrible television, and
enjoyably terrible.
Oh, enjoyably terrible. Yeah, it's that earnestness,
Yeah.
They had limitations because it was the mid 1970s and it was the BBC, and they weren't even Doctor Who level respectable. And at the time, Doctor Who was that silly show that they did on that nobody liked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's they're trying at least. They used to run this in back to back with Tom Baker Doctor Who episodes when I was a kid on OETA in Oklahoma, which was our local PBS affiliate. And that's part of why I like it so much, is that's, from being a kid.
Should we move on to another film and see what we can...
Yeah, let me see what I've got. I was trying to check on that actor real quick. There we go. For some reason, I opened one in which, like, it was like, we don't have any kind of entries. It's just a blank entry for the. And Avon was played by Paul Darrow, who definitely sounds familiar. Yep. At least 3 characters on Doctor Who in the 1970s. Yeah. He played Tecker, Captain Hawkins, and Captain Hawkins again.
What episodes?
We're Doctor Who and the Silurians from 1970, and Time Lash from 19. Oh, he was in Time Lash. Ouch. Oh man, Time Lash. Time Lash was a really corny episode. Yeah, I know why you know him, because he has been, like, if you've ever watched anything from the BBC from the 70s on, he's been in everything. Sheriff of Nottingham and the Legend of Robin Hood. It's on all kinds of rooms, killers.
Mm.
Yeah, Hammer House of Horror. He's your basic BBC actor. Extremely, extremely prolific. Oh, and he was Grand Moff Tarkin in Star Wars Empire of War.
I don't
Video
know
game.
what that is. Oh, okay.
Video game from 2006. He was Grand Moff Tarkin's voice actor. Nice.
Huh. Well, nice. He's still getting work. That's good.
Yeah, he's got roles going all the way up to 2015. So yeah.
Well, bravo, man who used to have exceedingly generic hair and face.
Hey, we've had a supporting role in Die Another Day. Yeah. Yeah, it's...
Congratulations.
And there's Blake, face like a slapped ass. I love him, though. He always kind of looks like somebody's come up and punched him. That's why he's rebelling so hard against the system.
He's got that vaguely Richard Kind look.
Yeah, it's funny because he's kind of like a mix between Peter Davison and Tom Baker, like in terms of appearance.
I'm gonna say with Richard Kind in the face.
Yeah, it's just like he comes across as just sort of like this vague mixing of various doctors.
Old crow line. At all times, he has the look of a man who's been hit with a fish.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay, let me see what we've got in terms of stuff we can watch. Let's see. Actually, most of what I've got tends to wind up being... Everything I've got downloaded already tends to wind up being stuff we've already hit relatively recently. Only thing I really have is the motivational speaker of Deadly Games, maybe. But given the time that's been on the stream, I don't know if we want to hit a full hour-long episode of something.
No, probably not. We're gonna need to get dinner going soon here anyway.
Well, yeah, and this is sort of a bonus one because we missed the last time through. We're going to try and do this again by the end of the month.
Yeah.
But I think as far as tests go for our streaming process, we've done pretty well.
Yeah. Only a few fuck-ups.
Yeah. And, that's several below average, even when the system was working the way it used to. So, yeah, I'm cool with it. Hope everybody had fun dropping in. We're probably going to break for the evening, but we're going to try and do this more often. And glad everybody came by to say hi.
Indeed. Yeah, we'll try and keep this going.
All right.
Now that we've got, this seems to work a lot better than Livestream did, just in general.
Well, yeah, we're definitely getting more people. This seems to be about 3 times our standard Livestream audience already. But also things just seem to move pretty smoothly on there, and I think the lag is a little bit less too.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
and hopefully when we pick a day that's not, E3, that shouldn't be an issue next time.
Yeah.
I don't think.
All right. Well, I'm going to disconnect from the stream, and thank you everybody for showing up. This is Trent saying good night.
All right. Good night, folks.
All right.